James Harden is the most overrated player in NBA history. Now, just let that sink in for a second because I'm sure a lot of you will disagree with me. In fact, right now, I'm sure most of you are disagreeing with me. But just watch this video. If you still think I'm wrong after you watch it, then that's okay. You're entitled to your own opinion. But I think I'm about to open up some eyes because James Harden is a superstar. He is without a doubt one of the best players in the NBA. But the man gets no respect. Whenever his name gets brought up, we always hear the same things. He can't play defense, he turns the ball over too much, he's selfish. But in the 4 years that James Harden has played with the Houston Rockets, he has been nothing short of incredible. These 4 seasons have seen him participate in 4 All-Star games, make the playoffs 4 straight years, and have earned him 3 selections to the All-NBA team. In fact, in 2014 and 15, Harden was selected to the first team All-NBA, officially declaring him to be one of the top 5 players in the NBA. The next year, 2016, he increased his stats across the board, averaging an absurd 29 points per game, 7.5 assists per game, and 6.1 rebounds per game. To put these numbers into perspective, only 4 other players have put up comparable numbers in NBA history. These players are Oscar Robertson, John Havlicek, LeBron James, and Michael Jordan. Now, Oscar Robertson put up similar numbers to these in 7 other seasons. However, as I've already discussed in my previous videos, stats during the Big O's time were inflated due to a huge increase in the number of possessions that teams had each game. So let's respectfully overlook Oscar's stats and look at Hondo's, LeBron's, and Jordan's. While putting up comparable stats to Harden's 2016 campaign, John Havlicek was named first team All-NBA, Michael Jordan was named first team All-NBA, and LeBron James was named the MVP of the NBA, which is no surprise, right? Because putting up 29 points, 7.5 assists, and 6 rebounds a night is a ridiculous stat line. But then we look at 2016 James Harden. Somehow, despite improving on stats that had earned him first team All-NBA the previous 2 years, somehow despite putting up stats that earned other NBA legends a first team All-NBA selection, Harden did not make the first team All-NBA. In fact, he did not even make the third team All-NBA. How is this even possible? It shouldn't be, especially when looking at the numbers of the other members of the 2016 All-NBA team. Here are the stats for the third team, second team, and first team All-NBA members. Just looking at this list, I'd say Harden belongs on the second team All-NBA. And advanced numbers back this up too. Looking at PER and win shares, Harden again appears to deserve a second team All-NBA nod, especially when considering that he carried his team into the playoffs. In the 2016 season, the Rockets had subpar talent. They had chemistry issues, and they were still able to make the playoffs because of one man, James Harden. Looking at next season, many people are already comparing Russell Westbrook to 2006 Kobe, a superstar who dragged his team to the playoffs despite playing with a team full of inferior talent. But really, the best replication of 2006 Kobe has already happened. With the 2016 version of James Harden, Kobe was rewarded with his efforts in 2006 with a selection to the first team All-NBA. Harden, on the other hand, received absolutely no credit. And let's just stop right there because I already know what you're thinking. In 2006, Kobe was playing with scrubs while James Harden was playing with a future Hall of Famer. And in the last few years, James Harden has gotten a lot of crap for not meshing well with Dwight Howard. And to be fair, I do agree that some of the blame should go to Harden, but I think most of it should go to Dwight, because despite his best efforts to persuade the public that he's really a good guy, that all he wants to do is win, Dwight Howard has been the absolute worst teammate that James Harden could have ever had. For some reason, Dwight refuses to act as the big man in the pick and roll. I need to repeat this again for effect. The best center of the last decade has refused time and time again to set picks and roll to the basket for easy buckets. Can you really blame James Harden for eventually freezing Dwight out of the offense? If you're still not convinced here, let's take a look at what Steve Nash, America and Canada's sweetheart, thought about Dwight. When reflecting about his time with the Lakers, Nash has been quoted as saying that Dwight did not want to take part in a pick and roll offense, which had been Nash's bread and butter in Phoenix. Instead, Dwight wanted the ball in the post, a place where he was dramatically less efficient as a basketball player and a move that frankly makes no sense. This thought process from Howard eventually led to Steve Nash openly screaming at Dwight during a regular season game, which to me is similar to the Pope openly screaming at an altar boy. So when considering that the man who is possibly the best teammate of all time hated playing with Dwight Howard, is it really crazy to think that James Harden would also have a problem dealing with Dwight Howard's bullshit? Okay, so we've covered the fact that James Harden got absolutely robbed from the All-NBA team, that his teammates have been garbage, that his relationship with Dwight Howard was predisposed to fall apart. But you're still not convinced that James Harden was the most underrated player ever. Well then, let's take a look at Harden's career and how he's impacted the teams he's played on. For starters, the Thunder made the NBA Finals in 2012 and have not made the finals since. OKC chose Serge Ibaka over Harden, which has since been considered one of the worst decisions in NBA history. This move cost OKC several potential championships, it derailed a possible dynasty, and it certainly planted the seeds for a future 30 for 30. But even taking OKC out of the equation, the impact that Harden has had on the Houston Rockets is comparable to the impact that a young LeBron James had on a subpar Cleveland Cavaliers team. In the 3 years before Harden joined the Rockets, they failed to make the playoffs each season. Since he joined Houston, the Rockets have made the playoffs each of the last 4 seasons. Going even further, in the 14 years before Houston acquired Harden, the Rockets racked up 17 total playoff wins. In the 4 years that Harden has been a member of the franchise, the Rockets have already won 14 playoff games, and in 2015, Houston made the Western Conference Finals after a monster effort from Harden in a fiercely competitive series against the Clippers. A series in which Harden averaged 25 points, 8 assists, and 5 rebounds a night. And in the 2016 playoffs, James Harden got a lot of crap for turning the ball over a lot against the Golden State Warriors. Sure, he was playing the team that just set the overall wins record, he was playing the back-to-back MVP, and his roster was honestly just full of crap. But I'll level with you here. If you're an NBA superstar, none of that should really matter. You should show up in every playoff series. But here's the thing, that's exactly what Harden did. For the series, Harden averaged 26.6 points, 7.6 assists, and 5.2 rebounds. In the only game that Houston won, Harden put up 35 points, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds. In Game 5, the deciding game of the series, he had 35 points, 6 assists, and 6 rebounds in the losing effort. When looking at the games, he was the only one playing with a real belief that the Rockets had a chance against the defending NBA champions. He put his heart on the line, and when he lost, he was met with criticism and memes. And again, how is that fair? James Harden's the only reason that the Rockets won any games against the Warriors. In fact, he's the only reason that this team made the playoffs. I can't say this enough, he single-handedly carried them all season, which to me isn't a surprise because James Harden is one of the best shooting guards we have ever seen. Since James Harden joined the Rockets, no player in the entire NBA has scored more total points than him. And in terms of points per game, only Kevin Durant has him beat. When diving even deeper into the stats, let's take a look at how Harden compares to other NBA shooting guards since his arrival in Houston for the 2013 season. Among shooting guards in terms of points per game, Harden ranks first. In terms of rebounds per game, Harden ranks first. And in terms of assists per game, Harden ranks first. That's right, in 3 major statistical categories, James Harden ranks first among all shooting guards since he joined the Houston Rockets. And moving even one step further, let's see how Harden ranks among the top shooting guards of all time. In a list that includes Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, and Allen Iverson, James Harden ranks 3rd in points per game among these 4 other basketball legends from the ages of 23 to 26. In terms of rebounds, he's again 3rd, and in terms of assists, Harden ranks 2nd only behind Dwayne Wade. As you can see, in 3 major categories, James Harden more than holds his own with some of the all-time greats at the shooting guard position. But still, when people talk about James Harden, all they say is that he's lazy and he plays no defense. So let's address those 2 statements. We've all seen these type of videos, the ones that show Harden missing defensive assignments and letting his opponent score time and time again. This apparent lack of defense has drawn heavy criticism from the media and general fans, but not from the fans of the Houston Rockets. In fact, Houston fans are quick to defend Harden whenever the subject of his defense is brought into question. Because here's the thing, James Harden literally puts in 100% of his effort to drag the Houston Rockets offense to a winnable level while averaging the most minutes per game of any player in the NBA. Now, I can put up stats that say Harden isn't as bad at defense as you may think, and that he's actually comparable to some other all-star type players, but instead, I'm going to lay down a hard truth. Not every player is LeBron James. Not every player is able to put up incredible numbers numbers on the offensive side of the court while giving his all on the defensive side. James Harden gives it his all on offense because that's what the Rockets need. Without him, they would be at the bottom of the NBA. He runs the offense, he scores the majority of the points, he leads his team in assists, and on defense, he takes a break. But the thing is, he needs to take that break. He's not a superhuman. Creating the majority of Houston's offense takes a toll on him. Playing the most minutes in the NBA takes a toll on him, which is something that fans of the Rockets, the people who watch him play in every game, understand. And so now I've covered this lack of defense, I've covered this apparent lack of effort, but still you're not convinced because the memes are just too strong. They're clouding your judgment. I mean, let's be real. James Harden is a turnover machine. That has to count against him. Well, to be fair, James Harden is a turnover machine. In 2016, he turned the ball over an alarming 4.6 times a game. This in itself should disqualify him from any award consideration, right? At this point, I would say wrong, but you know where I'm going with this. For one thing, as I've previously stated, Harden is the entire Houston Rockets offense. In the 2016 season, Harden averaged more than double the points and assists per game of any player on the Rockets roster, which in itself both shows just how bad his teammates were and explains his horrible turnover numbers. To put it simply, in 2016, Harden had the ball in his hands the majority of the time, so turnovers were bound to happen. But still, you're thinking, 4.6 turnovers a game? A superstar would never turn the ball over at that rate, but again, here's the thing. In the grand scheme of things, 4.6 turnovers per game is not a crazy number when it's combined with an even greater output of points and assists. In fact, one man who was named the MVP of the league averaged 4.6 turnovers per game for the entire season. His name is Allen Iverson. Yes, in the 2005 season, AI averaged 4.6 turnovers a game to go along with 30.7 points, 7.9 assists, and 4 rebounds. These numbers are eerily similar to the numbers that Harden put up with the Rockets in 2016, and much like the 2016 Rockets, the 2005 Sixers were bounced out of the first round of the playoffs in 5 games. For his efforts in dragging a sorry Sixers team to the playoffs, Allen Iverson was awarded first team All-NBA. James Harden, on the other hand, despite putting up a historic season that only NBA legends could match, was given nothing. So again, I get it. James Harden doesn't play good defense. James Harden turns the ball over too much. James Harden is lazy, even though he averaged the most minutes per game of any player this season. Whatever. Because of these things, you say he's overrated. But here's what I say. James Harden is underrated. So underrated, in fact, that in 20 years, people are going to look at his stat line and the level of talent he's playing with and determine James Harden is one of the best shooting guards that the league has ever seen. I've said it before, I'll say it again, I'll say it 1,000 times. People love to hate on greatness in the moment. Right now, James Harden is greatness, so stop hating on him. And thanks for watching, guys. I got a little serious at the end there. I don't know, I guess I'm more passionate about James Harden's place in history than I thought. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and if you are new to this channel, I highly suggest subscribing. Now, I sometimes make opinion videos like this that you might not agree with, but I also make basketball history videos. I do what ifs, I look at conspiracies. Basically, if it's NBA or basketball related, I will cover it, so if you love basketball, you'll love this channel. And I just love to have you subscribe. And to everyone who's already subscribed, what's up? How you doing? I've just got to say it every single video. Thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you for everything you've done for me. And other than that, guys, as always, have an awesome day and cue the music.